Welcome to the Mayor's News Conference. For this week's agenda, we have 3 topics that we will be focusing on. The first is a partnership between Highmark and the Institute on Healthcare Directives. The second is an unveiling of the Opportunity Zone's investment prospectus. And the third is the Wakanda invasion that's happening this Saturday at Gannon. And now I'll turn it over to the Mayor.
Thanks very much, Renee, and welcome everybody. I'm a little reticent to name anybody in particular, but I do want to thank Gary Lee from the county for being here, representing the county executive. Appreciate that. Also, Kathy Schaaf and Liz Allen from City Council. Thank you for being here as well. We'll start today with some exciting news that comes to us thanks to a partnership between Highmark and a firm called Midio, which you've heard about before, and we'll tell you a little bit more about them. But thanks to this partnership, we're going to be able to provide free of charge, personal recorded and validated resuscitation choices and a validated medical ID card to every one of our 173 police officers and 137 firefighters that work for the city. The Erie Police and the Erie firefighters serve Erie's 100,000 residents and hundreds of thousands of visitors that come here to Erie every year. As part of their job, they regularly encounter dangerous situations that can be life-threatening. We've talked about Midio before. You probably remember that Midio stands for My Informed Decision on Video. Midio uses innovative technology to provide personal, pre-recorded, and validated resuscitation choices contained on a medical ID card. We're excited that the Hammett Foundation has approved $15,000 in funding to provide Midio cards to our policemen and firefighters. Next, I'll bring up Dr. Meraki and Glenn Davis to tell us more. And first, I'll ask Dr. Fernando Meraki to come forward. He is an emergency medical physician who many of you know as the medical director of UPMC Hammett. He also has a medical practice called Advanced Care Planning. He founded the Institute on Healthcare Directives, which we'll refer to as IHCD going forward, which creates the unique technology called Midio. And again, that stands for My Informed Decision on Video. His Midio platform has been described by many as pioneering and a patient safety fix to prevent medical errors that are commonly caused with living wills and other end-of-life documents. Dr. Meraki.
Thank you. Morning, everybody. So obviously, thanks to the mayor here and Renee and police and fire as far as Guy Santone and Danny Spizzarni in the back there as far as helping us get this established here. And even more thanks to Jim Teed here from Highmark, who is our partner here to help get this established for all police and fire. So police and fire are really heroes, and that's part of this program. It's part of a hero program that we're offering out there to make sure that police and fire and their families are protected. Many of you don't know this, but there's a national patient safety crisis out there as far as medical errors. Medical errors are the #3 cause of death in the United States. One of the biggest errors that happens that goes unrecorded is how people with living will documents get treated. And 2 things happen, and it's usually not what the patient wants. People either get overtreated and treated against their wish, or they get undertreated and potentially die. So we've created Midio, which is My Informed Decision on Video, which is a really cool, unique ID card that actually is able to have you speak for yourself at a time you are no longer able to, and can actually guide your family. Now, I recently just got back from Denver, Colorado for what's called a CTAC meeting and a Pulse Technology Conference. And all the buzz at these meetings are how there's so many errors nationally happening and how nobody's paying attention to it. Well, we have a piece of technology here that can get combined with medical evaluations, and Highmark saw the value of this and brought it right to police and fire, and we're going to look to other payers and other groups to help us make this an employee benefit to everyone in Erie County to make sure that they can be protected, that you and your family can be protected. The technology on a national platform has the ability to correct so many errors and keep people safe, and that's what I think you want. Now, with that, I was charged to build a company and bring jobs to Erie, Pennsylvania. And with that, through the recruiting process, we actually came across Glenn Dennis. And I want to tell you a little bit about Glenn. Glenn is crazy in that he relocated from Florida to Erie. I'm not sure why. I must have a convincing story because I'm not really sure why. But we relocated him from Delray Beach, Florida here, and he's got a vast amount of technology experience, software engineering experience in building companies. And I've said this time and time and again to different groups. The intent here is to build the jobs here in Erie, Pennsylvania, and have it spread way to the West Coast and have all that development happen here in town. So with that, I want to have Glenn say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Maraki. Certainly, relocating from Florida to Erie is a little different, a little challenging. My friends said to me, wait a minute, I think that's the one city where the rental car companies rent snowmobiles and not rental cars. So I've assured them they're dead wrong. But on a serious note, I was raised in northern Minnesota, so this is kind of, actually, we're a little warmer than northern Minnesota, so I'm pretty excited about relocating up here and having an opportunity to come up and visit with Dr. Maraki and the IHCD team and the mayor really gave me an insight. The product is incredible, the timing is right, and everything that Dr. Maraki and all of us know about the product, it has a national play or a national opportunity to really address a problem. You either create products, you fix products that don't work, or you create something new. And the buzz is real, and the time is now. However, during that time, loved the product, loved it, so we've been talking, I think, probably for 3 or 4 months. And I don't know if he convinced me or if I convinced him, or we just wore each other out and said, okay, let's do this. My career has always been tied to improving the quality of life of patients. And when you take a look at the Medeo card, it gives all of us an opportunity to touch the ones that we love. Whether it's who we work with, our families, healthcare organizations, aging population, young population, you were able to touch and maybe change their lives and improve their lives. So it meets what I would believe is a threshold for me, that it continues to improve the quality of life. But what I wasn't expecting is when I was up here, I had a chance to meet with the mayor. He came over, sat down, spent 20, 30 minutes. His vision of what he wanted to do in Erie and how he looked at business and how he looked at creating jobs was very refreshing, something that I hadn't really anticipated. So that was impressive. So now standing in front of you, being the president of IHCD and having an opportunity to work with the city and with Highmark and to create an incredible company and scale this nationally is something that is once in a lifetime. So I look forward to getting to know everybody, look forward to bringing in more jobs, and we've got an incredible product, incredible future, and we couldn't be more happy and thankful for the support of the mayor. Thank you.
Thanks to both of you, and Glenn's been here since Saturday, and he's still here, so, so I think that's a good thing. We're really glad you've joined us for this exciting time. Really looking forward to it. Next, I want to recognize Jim Teed, Carol McFadden, and Nina Ferraro, who are here from Highmark. I'd also like to invite Jim, who is Highmark's Regional Business Development Executive, to come up and say a few words.
Thanks, Mayor. On behalf of Highmark, I just want to state, we've been partners with the city for many years, and we look forward to continuing this partnership. And when we were approached to help provide this grant for the men and women of the police and fire department, we jumped at the opportunity because we want to help take care of those men and women that take care of us every day. So we're very proud to be able to sponsor this, and we look forward to our partnership moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. We really appreciate the grant. I don't know if anyone else from Highmark wanted to say anything. If so, but I had a chance to record my Medeo message a couple weeks ago, and it's about 90 seconds, and it really expresses what you want at the end of life, and Dr. Maraki helps you kind of think through that and decide what that should be. The thing that really touched me about it, though, was you had a little time at the end to give a message to your loved ones, which I wasn't anticipating doing that. And it was like really moving emotionally to me to know that I could record that brief message and my loved ones will see it after I've passed away. It was a very moving experience. Next now, we're excited to present the next steps for our opportunity zones, including an overview of the Erie's investment prospectus. As you probably remember, opportunity zones were created by last year's federal tax legislation. There's currently $6.1 billion sitting idle in investments as capital gains. Opportunity zones create an incentive and an opportunity to invest that $6.1 trillion in the nation's most needy census tracts. In February, my team and I identified 8 Erie low to moderate income census tracts. Those 8 census tracts were all approved first at the state level and then at the federal level. 6 of our opportunity zones are located in our downtown core and encompass the priority area that Erie Refocused, our comprehensive plan, set up for us. These include the EDDC target area, and thanks for EDDC for being here, really appreciate that. The Innovation District, UPMC Hammett, Gannon, Erie Insurance, West 12th Street Corridor, which has a significant number of underutilized industrial sites. 2 additional tracts are located to the east of the downtown core and include some of our hardest hit industrial sites, such as the former International Paper, now the SB3 site. The second is Savacchio Park and the area in East Erie, which is adjacent to GE's Lawrence Park facility. In June, after attending the Accelerator for America conference, I learned that we needed to develop an Erie prospectus that markets the advantages of our 8 opportunity zones. At the July 26 press conference, we convened 30 community partners and announced that working with the County Data Center, thanks for being here too, we would take the lead on developing a prospectus for Erie to promote our opportunity zones. We set a goal to have it completed by the end of October. Brett Weiler, our business development officer, who you'll be hearing from in a moment, took the task of creating the prospectus. On August 23rd, I'm also happy to announce that Tim Wachter from the Knox firm created, he works in the public strategies area there, he announced the launch of an opportunity zone and fund consulting practice. Community leaders have met regularly to strategize on the marketing and branding of Erie's flagship opportunity zone. We developed a website called www.flagshipopportunityzone.com, through which potential investors can sign up to receive information on our opportunity zones. We will begin to use the website to promote the investment prospectus, the business in the zone, and investment opportunities. With Erie recognized as being at the forefront of developing its opportunity zone on a national level, the Accelerator for America asked us to submit a blog along with a draft of the prospectus, and that was published back on October 9th. Today, we will recognize that this is an evolving document, and we will feel comfortable releasing the Erie prospectus now, though. So next, I'd like to turn it over to Chris Groner, our Director of Economic and Community Development, to come up and share his thoughts on this. Chris.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. This is a very exciting day for our department to be able to reveal the finished product. Back when we learned about this obscure part of the newly passed tax reform bill, we knew that this was going to be something that our team needed to pursue aggressively, and that it was something that would eventually undoubtedly benefit Erie. So the administration wasted no time in getting to work and immediately took the first step in the process, which was deciding which census tracts we would submit for designation. After submitting those tracts to the governor's office and subsequently gaining approval from the Department of Treasury, we quickly decided that the next task would be to produce the prospectus. How important is this prospectus? It's essentially our story. It is the face that we are going to present to investors and the reason we're going to give them to invest in Erie. So we did need to get this right. When we set out to tackle this assignment, without hesitation, our business development officer, Brett Weiler, eagerly volunteered to step up. He accepted the task and took ownership of his job, and I was not surprised by that. That gave me full confidence that in the end, we would have a prospectus that we would all be proud of. I have reviewed the finished product, and I believe that it is heads and shoulders above the others that I have seen. I'm proud of the result, and I believe you will be too. So Brett, thank you. You've done a tremendous job and have produced a first-class document. I'd also like to thank Jeff Keeler from the County Planning Department. Jeff has played a pivotal role in providing lots of valuable data and assistance with the creation of this prospectus. So at this point, I'd like to ask Brett to come on up to share his work with us and go into further detail on the finished product. Thank you.
Morning, everybody, and thank you, Chris. We're really excited to unveil this document today. As the mayor and Chris mentioned, this is really version 1.0. We recognize the document will continue to evolve over time, but we feel we've got a really, really good start on this first version to present to you today. So, before I talk about the document, I do want to take a brief moment to thank a couple of our key partners on this. First, Matt Wachter and the Erie Downtown Development Corporation. Matt loves tax law, which was super helpful for me throughout this process. He was really instrumental in reviewing some of the more technical slides in the document, really utilizing his skill set. Matt and I also were able to go down to Philadelphia earlier this summer to participate in a roundtable hosted by Bruce Katz and a bunch of other really smart people. And it was a really valuable experience for us to really talk through the creation of this document, to get to know each other and to talk strategy and to really work towards this finished product. So thank you, Matt. Also, as Chris mentioned, Jeff Keeler, the director of the Erie County Data Center. Jeff is immensely talented and skilled. We're super lucky to have him here in our community. A graduate of the master's program of competitive intelligence at Mercyhurst. He joined us when I was at the chamber as an unpaid intern. We figured out a way to get him paid, get him a spot at the data center to really do some important work. This document doesn't happen without Jeff. All of the best looking slides in the document, Jeff had a hand in. And I know I drove Jeff crazy throughout this process. We locked ourselves in a room for hours and nitpicked and talked fonts and size and a lot of that stuff. So thank you, Jeff. So if you'll recall from earlier press conferences, the investment prospectus is a product designed to help cities strengthen their economic development strategies and market their competitive assets and advantages to local, regional, and national investors. It's a hybrid document. It's one part marketing piece, it's one part local economic analysis, and it's one part investment memorandum. The document is a tool. It's a tool, part of a larger strategy intended to increase the flow of capital into our designated opportunity zones and the region as a whole. The document is intended for individuals and corporations looking to invest capital gains. We are committed to getting it into the hands of wealth advisors, investment bankers, accountants, private equity firms, family offices, venture capital firms, angel investment groups, and social impact investors at a local, regional, and national level. Investors, outside investors in particular, want the top-line messages of what makes a city compelling. This prospectus lays out the main selling points that investors should know up front. Why should they invest in Erie? I think you'll find in this document that we believe there are a multitude of reasons to invest in Erie, but we've identified the following as our main selling points. First, capital follows capital, and we've seen a lot of capital flow to this region in the last few years. Approximately $700 million in investment from the private, public, and philanthropic sector in Erie. Second, we We have a beautiful bayfront, 470 acres on our bayfront, with about 175 that have been identified as prime for redevelopment. We have 23,000 university students in our market at any given time. We have 5 world-class universities, and those universities we believe will be critical to the talent pipeline needed to support the investment in the region. Our Secure Smart City pilot, in coordination and partnership with the Erie Innovation District. It seems every day we turn on the news or we open up the newspaper, there's another exciting development coming out of the Erie Innovation District, and we're proud to be partners with them on the Secure Erie pilot. And then lastly, the approximate 1 million square feet of commercial, industrial, and residential real estate property that we believe is prime for redevelopment in our 8 census tracts. In addition to those headline-grabbing reasons to invest in Erie, we also highlight in the prospectus what we call illustrative investment opportunities, or shovel-ready projects. This list is in no way comprehensive, but we've attempted to best identify the shovel-ready projects or intermediaries in place to help investors identify viable investment opportunities, whether that be operating businesses, startup businesses, mixed-use development opportunities, affordable housing, commercial or industrial redevelopment. These are one of Jeff's slides. So we've organized these shovel-ready projects and intermediaries into what we call this market mental map, which is really a strategy and a method that we worked with or learned from our friend Bruce Katz. We anticipate that funds are going to be developed across the country with the intention to invest in common products or typologies across multiple geographic locations. Because of that, we want to speak a common language for those investors. Essentially, we want to be able to raise our hands and say, we have that here in Erie. Thus, we've created this market mental map to show investors that we have the investment opportunities they're looking for. And you'll see we've organized our map into 5 distinct districts, which covers our 8 Opportunity Zone census tract. The first are Central Business and Bayfront Development Districts, where we have our Downtown Development Corp., our Erie Innovation District, our Erie Technology Incubator, our Port Authority, the Harbor Place Bayfront Development, and the Bayfront Place Development as well. To the east and west, we have our adjacent commercial and residential development districts, including our West Bayfront District, our Bayfront Eastside Task Force District, and our Serve Erie District. And then lastly, our industrial development districts east and west, where we have both greenfield and brownfield opportunities, and some our SB3 site and our Savacchio Park site as well. So what's the strategy? Working with our partners at the Erie Regional Chamber and the PA Flagship Opportunity Zone Development Company, we'll continue to build out that strategy, and I expect we'll hear some news from them in the coming weeks about the continued formation of that entity and the corresponding strategy. For the purpose of this document, we've clearly stated 2 high-level zone strategies. First, to reinforce the growth of the Central Business District and adjacent commercial and residential districts by leveraging current investment from our anchor institutions, our philanthropic stakeholders, and our public sector partners at the state and local level. And second, to accelerate the rate of investment in the emerging entrepreneurial ecosystem centered on the Erie Innovation District, the Erie Technology Incubator, and legacy manufacturing companies in the urban core and adjacent urban industrial parks. The last thing I want to cover today is the opening narrative of the document. The spirit and intention of the Opportunity Zone program is to increase investment in historically disadvantaged communities. It's a bipartisan piece of legislation aimed at expanding economic opportunities for places and people left behind. While we recognize the challenges our community faces, we also believe and convey in this document that Erie is a community on the rise. We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to realize transformational change. The narrative reads, Pennsylvania's only Great Lakes port city is at an inflection point. A city in the throes of reinvention, characterized by renewed enthusiasm and optimism across broad segments of the community, highlighted by unprecedented collaboration, anchor investment, civic resurgence, and a convergence of stakeholders aimed at community renewal. What follows in this document is a story of a city wrestling with renewed optimism, yet persistent challenges, a story of a community poised to recreate itself so that all segments of the community can usher in the next decade equitably. The story will identify the unique sets of institutions, programs, and resources available to investors and developers. It will identify shovel-ready projects in high-potential operating and startup businesses, and it will include a strategy to ensure that investment is aimed at inclusive and equitable growth and wealth generation for all segments of the community. That last part is probably the most important, and I want to bring Kathy Rosdick up to discuss how we best achieve inclusive and shared prosperity for everyone in Erie. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. I do want to take a moment to give kudos back to Brett Weiler and Jeff Keeler. What they've been able to accomplish over the past few months in pulling this information together and meeting with people is unparalleled in this community as far as I've seen it. They've done a tremendous job pulling together and centralizing information. But as we've said, this is an evolving document. This tool is designed to infuse a lot of investment, a lot of capital into the most highly distressed areas of our community. That fact does not go unnoticed, that what we need to do with this tool is to ensure that the people who live in these areas are helped to improve their lives as part of this tool and other tools. This strategy will continue to be developed, and we will continue the outreach. So I'll just talk a little bit about what that means. As this tool comes to fruition and communities across the nation look to the potential investments and economic impact from these investments, cities and towns must be cognizant of how opportunity zones will benefit the people living in these distressed areas. Development of this prospectus has positioned the city to collect valuable information about the potential we have for new and expanding businesses and jobs. But it has also given us a chance to find tangible ways to connect people living within these areas with growth and opportunity and ensure those residents are able to participate and improve their lives. In order to achieve equitable outcomes from this and other potential investment tools, communities must develop inclusion strategies, and Erie is following suit. As this critical piece of the prospectus takes shape over the next few months, we will look at national and state models, solicit local input to define an equity and inclusion approach to development that is fair and meaningful. Our process will focus on ways to incentivize projects that meet equitable standards and reduce the risk associated with those projects. We understand that as business grows or expands, workforce readiness will be key. As investment is occurring at a potentially higher level than previously seen, safe and affordable neighborhoods will be sought after. And as our opportunity zones grow, services that are needed to improve the quality of life for our residents will be essential. Erie's framework for this effort will follow the 5 aspirations of the city's vision. That includes celebrating our diverse cultures, welcoming and vibrant neighborhoods, world-class downtown and bayfront, schools of excellence, and abundance of family-sustaining jobs. From this, we will work within our own departments to understand how resources can be aligned to help incentivize investment that achieves equitable growth. We have started discussions with community stakeholders working directly with marginalized people, and will continue to rely on their input and advice to develop this inclusion strategy. We will also reach out to our philanthropic interests to determine ways in which we can partner to fully resource projects through funding and technical assistance that meet the objectives of inclusion and equitability. There will be more information and outreach over the next few months, as I said, as this process develops, concrete steps and benchmarks, but we wanted to take this moment to update you on what will be a critical component of the overall strategy for opportunity zones and other development review processes within the city. Now I'd like to introduce James Sherrod, Executive Director of the Martin Luther King Center, to talk more about the collaborative work that the Community Center leadership is undertaking as part of the Minority Community Investment Coalition and how that effort will help to support and inform the inclusion strategy that is under development now. James?
Good morning, everyone. As stated, my name is James Sherrod. I'm the Executive Director of the Bayfront NATO Martin Luther King Center here in Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm also a member of the MCIC, which is the Minority Community Investment Coalition. The Minority Community Investment Coalition is a group of community-based organizations that are working together in the city of Erie. Our footprint stretches from Cranberry to Bird Drive, from the Bayfront to 28th Street. Members have included the Booker T. Washington Center, the Bishop's Leadership Institute, Urban Erie Community Development Corporation, the John F. Kennedy Center, and the Martin Luther King Center. The coalition was formed to address hopelessness, joblessness, economic disparities, and aims to coordinate work within our community. Those on the front line to raise our voices as one, which is ultimately important. We have to give voice to the disparities that are out there within our community. Currently working together from the coalition are Urban Erie Community Development Corporation, the Booker T. Washington Center, and the Martin Luther King Center. As I stand here today, it is our belief, the Booker T. Washington Centers, Urban Erie Community Development Centers, the Martin Luther King Centers, that it is important to align and work with the City of Erie's new mayor and his administration. We know that our communities have starved for capital investment for many years. We believe opportunity zones may provide the needed investment to accelerate economic growth in such areas as Joyce A. Savacchio Business Park. Joyce A. Savacchio Business Park is a part of the Harbor Homes Hope Zone. It is situated in Census Tract 15, the second poorest census tract in the city of Erie. This property is named after Erie's only woman mayor, Joyce Savacchio, who served 3 terms. She also served the community as an educator for many years and as a city councilwoman. As Mayor Savacchio acted affirmatively in advancing minority representation in city government and on boards and authorities. The park itself is a former Superfund site. $2 million of public money was used to remediate the property, but as it's sat nearly vacant since 2005. This community development project is intended to benefit Erie's urban poor, new American populations, and will be renamed the Joyce A. Savacchio Opportunity Park. Opportunity zones are truly an unprecedented opportunity to provide needed capital investment to vulnerable communities, such as where Joyce A. Savacchio Opportunity Park is located. We, Urban Erie Community Development Corporation, the Booker T. Washington Center, the Martin Luther King Center, look forward to the investments in the areas like Savacchio Business Park. We believe it will allow us to move our clients from the darkness of hopelessness to the light of economic opportunity, empowerment, jobs and education, along with infrastructure development. Thank you for your time today, and in the future, we'll have some more information for you. As we solidify it, we'll release it to the community. Next up, I believe, is our great mayor of our city, Joe Schember.
You may have noticed that I changed. Do you like it? I'll talk more about this in a minute, but first, I really want to thank Chris, Brett, Kathy, and James for their presentations. This is really an exciting event going on. I look forward to working closely with MCIC on developing inclusion strategy to ensure that the development is equitable so that it builds opportunity and restores hope, as well as transforms Erie. I also want to thank Andy Steinmetz, who was over here a minute ago. There, he snuck down there because he knew I was going to do this. And also Brian King for making the prospectus available online. In order to view the document, you just go to www.flagshipopportunityzone.com. To print it out, you can find it, the PDF, at the city website, www.erie.pa.us. The document will be emailed out to 145 people who have signed up to receive the information already via the Flagship Opportunity Zone website. That's happened since October 23rd when that was launched. And we will also begin promoting it on social media, and that'll be Andy's job as well. We will continue to work with all of our partners, including the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership. James Gornke is here. Yeah, thank you for being here. We look forward to working with you and you taking a leadership role on this to develop strategies for our opportunity zones for potential investors. So our last item for today is one of the most important elements of our vision for the city of Erie is to celebrate our rich, diverse cultures. Today we want to let everyone know about an event at Gannon this Saturday, October 20th, from 6 to 10 p.m. in the Yale Alumni Room. The Gannon African Student Union will present the Wakanda Invasion. It's a showcase of food, culture, music, and African beauty. And here to tell us more about that, I'd like to welcome up to the stage Dante. He's got a nice shirt too.
Hi. I am a Pizutone Kale Sanbe, but I'm called Dante. I'm from Cameroon, and I'm a master's student at Ghana University. I am the president of the African Student Organization, and I'm here with my PRO, Sydney Oyata from Kenya. We decided to have the Wakanda invasion some months ago, and we reached out to the mayor's office, and we were happy that they came on board to support us to have this program. Now, as many of you must know, those who are fans of action movies, Marvel Studio, the Wakanda it's inspired from the Black Panther movie. When this movie came out, it showcased African culture, and even though it was in an imaginary way, but it showcased it from a different perspective, the myriad of culture that it's what Africa is. And it brought together so many people from different races all over the world. They trunked up to cinema halls, and it was a beauty. And we thought that if a movie like this could bring people together, why don't us also, in our own small capacity as a student organization, do an activity that can bring people together? And bearing in mind that Erie is a community that prides itself in its diversity, and with the vision of the mayor in trying to see that this diversity is exposed to the rest of the world, we said Wakanda Invasion was the right thing for us to do. And it's an event whereby we are going to be presenting from two professional designers, African designers who were found in the United States. They are going to present the designs, and our students, both African students, American students, and other international students are going to wear these designs and walk down the stage. And that is not just the highlight of the event. I think the highlight of the event is the food itself. We're bringing in a professional African chef who's going to be preparing 10 varieties of African food, which we are inviting everybody to come in and try to savor this taste. I mean, if your stomach is full, then everything is all right. And coming from Africa, we don't play with our food. Yeah. So apart from that, we are going to also have some other students who present poetry, dancing, and we bring in also a performer to present some of its songs on that day. So I'm so happy, as well as all the members of the organization are so happy for this opportunity that we have to showcase African culture to the rest of the communities. And like I said for our first meeting with the mayor and his staff, like we as students here in Erie, international students, we make up about, in terms of 23,000 students that were shown here, we make up probably about 4,000. And these 4,000 students, about 90% or 99% of the students leave after they've done with their studies. We are ambassadors of the Erie city, and we must have a good time here so that when we go out, we are able to spread the good news that, hey, come up and see Erie. This is how wonderful this town is. So that is why we are doing Wakanda Innovation, to be able to be part in contributing to make sure that Erie is as beautiful as it is and will continue to be what it is. So thank you so much, and hope to see you there tomorrow.
Thanks very much, Dante. It's going to be a wonderful celebration of African cultures, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for all the work you've done to make it happen and providing me with this beautiful African shirt as well. Thank you very much. That concludes our press conference for today. Everyone that spoke will be available for interviews afterwards. Thanks very much.